To our respected professor, Dr. Eva B. Imingan, to my classmates, good evening. Tonight, I will be presenting to you my assigned topics. These are improving student achievement and teacher effectiveness through scientifically based practices. Two, legal basis of education. And I am Nur Hassan B. Amran. To start my presentation is to impart to you the written essay by Margaret A. Tribus, ADD, entitled The Challenge and Hope Scientifically Based Research. Teachers and administrators alike are challenged by the No Child Left Behind legislation to incorporate scientifically based research into their decision making for programs and practices that will improve students' achievements. Education researchers also are challenged to produce studies that are fitful to scientifically based principles. Now more than ever, practitioners and researchers need to link their efforts to address student learning. Finding new opportunities for educators, policymakers, and researchers to work together on behalf of schools affected by the new legislation is a challenge. And it entails hope that scientifically based research will provide a better direction and evidence that student achievements can improve. Here are the 11 components of a comprehensive reform program. 1. Employs proven strategies and proven methods for student learning, teaching, and school management that are based on scientifically based research and effective practices and have been replicated successfully in schools. 2. Integrates a comprehensive design for effective school functioning, including instruction, assessment, classroom management, professional development, parental involvement, and school management that aligns the school curriculum, technology, and professional development into a comprehensive school reform plan for school-wide change designed to enable all students to meet challenging state, content, and student academic achievement standards and addresses needs identified through a school needs assessment. 3. Provides high quality and continuous teacher and staff professional development. 4. Includes measurable goals for student academic achievements and benchmarks for meeting such goals. 5. Is supported by teachers, principals, administrators, school personnel staff, and other professional staff. 6. Provides support for teachers, principals, administrators, and other school staff. 7. Provides for the meaningful involvement of parents and the local community in planning, implementing, and evaluating school improvement activities consistent with Section 1118. 8. Uses high quality external technical support and assistance from an entity that has experience and expertise in school-wide reform and improvements, which may include an institution of higher education. 9. Includes a plan for the annual evaluation of the implementation of school reforms and the student results achieved. 10. Identifies other resources, including federal, state, local, and private resources that shall be used to coordinate services that will support and sustain the comprehensive school reform effort. And 11 has been found through scientifically based research to significantly improve the academic achievements of students participating in such programs as compared to students in school who have not participated in such program or has been found to have strong evidence that such program will significantly improve the academic achievements of participating children. So there are some of the effective instructional strategies. And the first is identifying similarities and differences. Two, summarizing and note taking. Three, reinforcing effort and providing recognition. Four, homework and practice. Five, non-linguistic representations. Six, cooperative learning. Seven, setting objectives and providing feedback. Actually, there are many effective instructional strategies, but I only include this as seven to my presentation. So in the next slide, we are going to tackle some of the important notes of these enumerated instructional strategies. First is identifying similarities and differences. Okay, so also known as a compare contrast. This type of activity requires students to identify important characteristics and then use these characteristics as the basis for identifying similarities and differences. So we have here picture of Venn diagram, matrices multiplication, and T-charts, which is these are all powerful tools to help students compare. Number two is the summarizing and note taking. Note taking means writing down and organizing information, then restating it in your own words. The notes you take depend on why you are reading and what you are hoping to learn. Keep in mind that no matter the purpose, note taking always involves figuring out what's important. And when you summarize, you identify the main ideas. You pick out the most important parts of what you read and restate them in your own words. When you reduce what you read to the main points, you will be able to better understand and remember the information. And here is the example of the note taking. So the number three is reinforcing effort and providing recognition. So reinforcing effort enhances students' understanding between efforts and achievements by addressing students' attitudes and beliefs about learning. Reinforcing effort allows students to talk about how they apply effort and the results obtained. Providing recognition provides students with praise for their accomplishments related to the attainments of a goal. Students recognize one another verbally, and the teacher recognizes students during each class period. So here are some of the example of the giving or verbal recognition or rewards. So the tool is actually can be used for students to congratulate one another on a job well done. So this is a very important for the students to be motivated and to study more and to improve their achievements. Next is homework and practice. It is important to make sure that all students understand the content that has been taught. Practice and homework are effective instructional strategies to help students retain content. All classrooms contain students with diverse learning styles. To guarantee mastery and retention of new learning for all students, teachers should use several variations of practice and homework. In addition, students with disabilities need extended practice periods with teacher feedback, as well as variations of practice and homework. Next is the non-linguistic representations. It is the expressions of an idea in a way that goes beyond the use of words. We have the diagrams, pictures, graphic organizers, 3D models, movements, demonstrations, role plays, simulations, or mental images that can be used for non-linguistic representations. One way to teach something is to explain it either verbally or in writing. This is a linguistic way of presenting that information using language only. But most people learn concepts better when they are also presented in other non-linguistic ways. For the most part, this means visually or through some kind of movement. If you ever heard a guy stop in the middle of an explanation and say, "Hold on, let me show you a picture," that guy is getting ready to sit you down for a big heaping plate of non-linguistic representation. Next is the cooperative learning. In cooperative learning, students work together in small groups on a structured activity. They are individually accountable for their work, and the work of the group as a whole is also assessed. Cooperative groups work face to face and learn to work as a team. Cooperative learning, which will be the primary focus of workshop, is a specific kind of collaborative learning. So in small groups, students can share strength and also develop their weaker skills. They develop their interpersonal skills. They learn to deal with friends, and of course, they actually deal with conflicts. So when cooperative groups are guided by clear objectives, students engage in numerous activities that improve their understanding of subjects explored. In order to create an environment in which cooperative learning can take place, three things are necessary. First, students need to feel safe, but also challenge. Second, groups need to be small enough that everyone can contribute. Third, the task students work together on must be clearly defined. The cooperative learning techniques presented here should help make this possible for teachers. And the cooperative learning small groups provide a place where learners actively participate. Teachers become learners at times, and learners sometimes teach. Respect is given to every member. Projects and questions, interest and challenge students. Diversity is celebrated, and all contributions are valued. Students learn skills for solving conflicts when they arise. Members draw upon their past experience and knowledge. Goals are clearly identified and used as a guide. Research tools such as internet access are made available, and students are invested in their own learning. Next is setting objectives and providing feedback. Setting objectives and providing feedback is actually to ensure students understand what they are supposed to learn, how the skills or knowledge will need to be applied, and how they will demonstrate their learning. This category of strategies also provides students with information about their progress they are making towards established learning targets. So everyone, we are now here in the second part of my report, which is the legal basis of education by Dr. Juaneto and Infante. Jr. So according to the 1987 Philippine Education, our constitution provides the legal basis of education. The Department of Education, Culture, and Sports is the principal agency of the Philippine government that is responsible for education and manpower development. The state shall protect and promote the right of all citizens to quality education at all levels and shall take appropriate steps to make such education accessible to all. Article 14, Section 1. In the Article 14, Section 2 stated, the establishment and maintenance of a complete, adequate, and integrated system of education relevant to the needs of the people and society. So remember from the quotation by Erasmus, the main hope of a nation lies in the proper education of its youth. Complete, adequate, integrated system of education, values, skills, knowledge are very vital in the education. Here are some of the needs scholarship for the people who are in needs. We have the free basic education, scholarship, grants, and incentives. And according to Malcolm S. Forbes, education's purpose is to replace an empty mind with an open one. So as you can see, we have the picture of the non-formal, informal, and indigenous learning systems. Inclusion of the study of Constitution, inculcation of patriotism and nationalism, love of humanity, respect for human rights, appreciation of the role of national heroes in the historical development of the country, teach the duties of citizenship, etc. in the curriculum. In the Article 8, 1904, stated the right to education comes from national nature. Every child is entitled to be educated by his family, by the state, and by the church. Support of children, as defined by the 1988 Family Code, that includes schooling or training. In the Education Act of 1982, or also known as the Batas Pambansa Bilang 232, stated applies to both private schools and all levels of the entire educational system. An act providing for the establishment and maintenance of an integrated system of education. The goal is that the act provides the basic policy of the states is to establish and maintain a complete, adequate, and integrated system of education relevant to the goals of national development as follows. 1. Achieve and maintain an accelerating rate of economic development and social progress. 2. Assure the maximum participation of all people in the attainment and enjoyment of such growth. And 3, achieve and strengthen the national unity and consciousness and preserve, develop, and promote desirable cultural, moral, and spiritual values in a changing world. And the aims are provide for a broad general education that will assist each individual in the peculiar ecology of his own society to attain his potential as human being. 3. Enhance the range and quality of individual and group participation in the basic functions of society. Four is to acquire essential educational foundation of his own development into a productive and versatile citizen. Five, train the nation's manpower in the middle skills required for national development. Six, develop the professional professions that will provide leadership for the nation in the advancement of knowledge for improving the quality of human life. Seven, respond effectively to changing need and conditions of the nations through a system of educational planning and evaluation. And before I end my presentation, I would like to leave the quotation or a message by John F. Kennedy. The goal of education is the advancement of knowledge and the dissemination of truth. At the end of the day, it's not merely the ability to recall facts and figures that matters, but the power to seek and spread the truth. And that's all for my report. Thank you very much for listening. Sukriya, gracias, and terima kasih.